An insane rally today. Not only that, we did speak about it in our last video. You have to make sure we maintain above this key line that I just showed you on the 15-minute. This one right here, this is everything right now. And even if we did gap down, if we got picked up and we went above 3,920 and continued going higher, that is very bullish, and that would be bear bait, which I've talked about a lot. This would be baiting a lot of bears if we were under here. So it's a lot of scenarios you have to play with. Again, I said my bias is to the upside, at least for the early week, where I did expect some form of a turn to the upside. And not only that, look at where we stopped on the day, and we closed around right on that orange line I've been talking to you guys all about lately. This is the one that connects back to 2009 lows, which you will know if you've been watching our videos and are subscribed, which, by the way, you may as well do that. It's completely free. We pump these out every Wednesday and Sunday, and we'll continue to do so for free. So you can check this out, our channel out, if you have not yet. But very, very crazy rally today, and that brings the question of, will there be more to come, and is this only a form of a rally before another move down? And in this video today, I'm going to explain my thoughts. So I want to start off by looking at the flow of SPY here. I filtered for over 1 million in premium. I want to see what big money is doing. And right off the bat, you can see before the close at 2:52 Eastern, we saw a lot of puts come in, and not only a lot of puts in terms of premium, also these were quite a bit out the money at that 380 strike with the 1021 expiration. Okay, that's interesting that we saw these. We saw 4 different ones hit the tape here, and it's way over 15 million in premium. And also you can see, because it's highlighted, it is above the ask, so there is some urgency to these, and this is a lot of money going into them. And I'm assuming it's the same whales, or the same firm at least, that is buying these puts, that has been in the past and has been able to short a lot of these rallies like they did during this up rally up here. And as we've seen just a ton of times, if I go over to the daily chart really quick here, they've been able to short a lot of these rallies all the way on the way down. The only month that they did get wrong, which I will admit, was during July, and we did see them get squeezed out in a sense, but they continued to buy those puts as it went up. They just changed the strike of those puts until eventually we did fall off a cliff. So I guess in a sense they were right. Eventually they just had to keep rolling them. But going back to where the flow is, we saw a lot of these hit the tape much later in the day. So this, first of all, is a sign that these guys at least don't think this rally is going to stand a chance at continuing up that much longer. Now, could it keep going higher? Yes. And remember, we have retested this key trend line right here, which, by the way, I will talk about a bit later. Could we keep going higher for right now? Yes, but they're starting to load their shorts for right now. So you do need to be wary as they load these types of shorts, because they have been right in the past, kind of like what I shared with you earlier. If we keep scrolling down, very similar prints that hit the tape throughout the day. We saw 370 for 1021 expiration, 1.5 million. So a lot of similar prints hitting the tape throughout the day as we rallied up intraday with this big green candle for 1.80% on SPY. So definitely something to continue watching. I want to see if they continue to add more to these. If we continue up a little bit higher from here, that's going to be a tell signal to see if they think that we potentially will collapse off this, because you have to remember, if we go to the weekly chart right here, this candle right here on the weekly chart is a very bearish candle. We closed under my 2009 trend line, which, if you're confused on where I got my pivots, just look back at literally any of the videos in the past month. This is the one that predicted the COVID crash. I sound redundant because I say it a lot, but I know there's a lot of new viewers, and also the 2018 correction. And we saw here that we retested this line during this week because we had to close below the week prior. So I'm very interested to see on where this weekly candle closes this week. If we close again below this level, that is even more bearish going forward. There's still a potential we could close above, which would be the bulls kind of reversing. This would be a bear bait in a sense, but I'd like to see how the weeks go on going forward, and I want to see where we close this week, especially in terms of the candle. So moving over to SPX, I kind of want to show you guys how this move played out, at least today, or what prompted this move to play out on a basic version. So we have this, well, I'll go scroll back here for you guys. We have this key trend line that I've talked about many times. It goes back to this pivot right here on July 14th, and also this pivot here June 17th, where we had this big upward move off of, and that's the yearly lows so far. So if you drag it across, you get, I actually had 2, but right now this one is roughly goes across like 3,920, 3,915, kind of that range. And we did stay above it for a bit. However, we closed below yesterday. So that's the key thing. We closed at 3,908 yesterday, which is technically below this level. So I personally was looking for some form of a gap up or a quick, the bulls to quickly reclaim this level, which is actually what happened here. We saw the first 50-minute candle closed right on that level that I had, the trend line, and then the next one just blew straight over it. And this candle was very, very key because it was able to get back above, close the 15-minute above this line. that we have right here, and then we retested it later in the day and it held. That's very key. This level not only was broken to the upside, but it also held on the 5 minute here. Oh, sorry, this is the 5 minute candle that went up above, my bad. But the 15 minute also closed above, as you can see here if we go to the 15 minute chart, and we actually held it on the 15 minute and 5 minute. We held above this level and it continued up higher after. So we closed below, which is bearish in a sense. However, we reclaimed it very quickly during this morning and it was able to stay above, which is very key because a lot of bears like to get in below here since it was a bearish setup. But once we got back above, you be very careful when that happens because this can act as bear bait, which I've been telling you guys about for a long time with a lot of different moves. And it was able to continue up higher and higher. Look at this. It respected this level right here that I have. This trend line fell down, but then broke through it with this very clean 15-minute candle in the middle of the day and just continued tearing straight through upward as it went further. And now we see where it landed today, right on that 2009 trend line. So beautiful, beautiful work with the markets. I love it when it works with my levels. So really like how this played out today. And going to the VIX, which is the next thing I want to talk about here, we can see that this had a very bearish day in terms of the VIX, which is bullish for the S&P 500. It was not able to get over 27 decisively on the daily candle. You can see here, 27, resistance, 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 resistance. We saw it 4 times on the daily where it was not able to get above, and then we got rejected very hard today. This was a nice pickup candle you could see here on the 2nd of September, but it wasn't able to get over 27. So now it's stuck kind of between 24 and 27. So unless it breaks below 24 decisively on a daily candle or above 27, it's going to be range bound in here, which means the S&P 500 is probably going to be a bit range bound as it stays below. Volatility still way higher than it when it was down here around 20, but you just have to watch for key confirmation below 24 or above 27 to kind of get a sense on what SPY may do. And remember, SPY is most likely going to be the inverse of where the VIX goes right here. So I just wanted to let you guys know my thoughts on that. And then also I want to let you guys know on the DXY. DXY has seen a lot of strength on the daily lately, and that prompted a lot of our weakness in the market. But today, you can see right here, very, very bearish candle. And I want to show you something here. This is the thing that first caught my eye. You guys know I like to look for head and shoulders on, or at least head and shoulders patterns. And if you look here, you can probably already start to see it as I'm drawing it. There's a potential of a head and shoulders. Now, am I predicting this will happen? No. Again, I want to see this play out, and it's very, very difficult to chart currency. Now, you can see there's a clean breakout here, so this chart worked, but it's way more difficult to chart currencies than the actual market, at least in my opinion, maybe because I'm not as experienced with it, but it's still a chart. So I want to watch and see if this plays out, because if we did get a head and shoulders, this could mean that there is a very good top that will form for at least a long amount of time, or at least within the next like 4 to 6 months. So I am looking for something like this. We did have a very clean candle, or at least rejection candle on the way down. So remember, the dollar has been ripping upwards so far, so that has brought a lot of weakness in the market. But for now, we're seeing some weakness on it. Does that mean it can't keep going up? No. I just want to let you guys know. Just watch for this. That's all I'm saying. I'm not predicting anything in terms of the DXY. Just watch for this kind of pattern if it does play out. And at the very least, this is a very bearish daily candle. And you can see back here when we saw thick daily candles to the downside, it led to a lot more downside. So continue to watch the DXY as well as the VIX, and that will help you a lot. But one last thing I want to talk about today, and that is Apple. Apple has still not reclaimed this key channel. I've shown you guys this channel for a while now. You can see the bottom here, the support, and the top here, the resistance. If we go across, we broke above this support or the resistance after finding this resistance here on July 21st, and then we broke above it, continued higher, and actually touched the top resistance of this channel, and then we fell a lot lower, and now we're below this channel. So Apple has still not reclaimed this channel, which in itself is bearish. We had a weekly close below, and now we're still below, even with the strength in the S&P 500. Apple only was up 0.93% today, and it actually had a little bit of weakness near the end of the day, as you can see on the daily candle. This did not show very much strength in comparison to SPY. And if you remember, when we see larger caps lag, kind of like Google did, when I was able to short Google back here, we saw this during the S&P 500 rally, which was during this time period right here. Google did not rush up that much, and it was also within a bear flag. And because of that, it showed a lot more weakness as it went down, or at least when the market went down, Google showed a lot more weakness, and now is below this bear flag right now. So this is a bearish setup in itself, unless it's able to reclaim back above. But we're starting to see similar signs with Apple right now. It's showing weakness. Now, could this change? Yes, it's kind of a day-to-day thing, but for the moment, continue to watch Apple, because if Apple continues to show weakness even while the market keeps going higher, that's showing a very key rebalancing stage in the market, and that's something you definitely want to watch for, especially if you'd like to short Apple, because there's a very good risk reward setup over here. Personally, I took shorts up here at 167.50 roughly. I saw a lot of heavy dark pool prints, and I assumed that they were selling just based on context, because if you look back here, this thing had been rallying since June 17th, and we saw billions or above billions in dark pool prints up here. So I was like, there's no way they're buying up here, along with a lot of other variables, obviously. But I did end up shorting that, and I still have a decent amount of my short position, and I want to keep seeing confirmation of the downside, or at least us staying below here to continue holding that. But appreciate you guys watching this video today. Hopefully it helped you guys out. And yeah, do subscribe if you have not. We'll keep pumping these videos out every Sunday and Wednesday, and I'll see you guys next time.